Hello everyone, Drip here. Today we're going to be debunking Tyler on his takes on whether or not Alien X can beat Goku. From his perspective, he thinks Alien X beats Goku in fact, which is just blatantly wrong. Well, I'm going to make this video extremely fast because your boy has malaria and needs to rest, so let's get into it. Also, we're going to be skipping all the irrelevant parts because, yes, obviously.
Even before entering godhood, Goku already was fighting Kid Buu, who's capable of wiping out the Dragon Ball universe within a finite amount of time. Whether you want to use the anime of him destroying the planet slowly but surely, or the manga with Goku saying he can make the universe go poof, Goku before even gaining his god amp should be a universe buster with infinite speed.
Well, this is a situation where he's actually downplaying the character, but it doesn't sound like downplaying because it's higher than most people actually have Z Goku. Most people usually have, Super Saiyan 3 Goku at multi-galaxies, Cell at solar system level, and blah blah blah, which is just blatantly wrong. Even Namek Saga Frieza can be scaled to Universal Plus, and then you have Cell Saga characters being infinitely stronger than that and beyond.
The reason for this is because the universe that Kid Buu was going to destroy is infinite in size, meaning he would need infinite speed in order to destroy it within a finite amount of time.
You forgot to add the fact that Goku's energy was able to be felt in the Kaioshin realm, a realm that is completely separated from the Macrocosm and actually oversees the Macrocosm, meaning it would be superior in the hierarchy. And even Kid Buu threatening to destroy the Kaioshin realm, which would just be an out-of-versal feat, which I'm gonna get to later on. So obviously it would just be an irrelevant speed feat. And even if we use a downplay argument, which you used later on in your video, it would be a measurable speed bare minimum.
These two would proceed to clash with each other, and it's stated that the very shockwaves that are being produced by their clashes are capable of wiping out the entire Dragon Ball macrocosm. So not even just the living universe, but also things like the Kai realm, Otherworld, and pretty much everything with it. This is interesting since we know that bare minimum the Dragon Ball macrocosm is 4th dimensional in size.
What the fuck do you mean by 4th dimensional in size? You literally just showed a scan that contradicts that. And now you're saying 4th dimensional in size because your audience is full of people who are normies, so they can't really understand power scaling. So you just kind of throw out random words and expect them to just buy it, which is kind of sad at this point. I wish the people who have larger audiences didn't spread so much misinformation intentionally just to downplay a series, because a lot of these normies don't even understand power scaling that much, and they'll just believe every garbage you throw at them. Yes. A lot of things you say are garbage.
With it even hosting realms that go beyond this dimension. So baseline, this Battle of Gods feat should actually be 5D.
See, this is why you're bad, bro. The word extra dimensional doesn't necessarily mean higher dimensional. It doesn't mean any higher dimensional thing anyway, it just means something that's outside of the universe. Obviously, Otherworld in its entirety and by proxy things within it are outside of the living universe, so by definition, it would be extra dimensional compared to them. The word extra dimensional, as I said, only refers to things outside of the universe, so it doesn't mean the Otherworld is now dimensional because of the name. That would just be a name fallacy. Besides, any human word that you use to describe something that is out-of-versal inherently implies space by default. Even if you use the word realm or space or dimension, they all imply dimensionality to some extent. So it would just be a name fallacy, and by that logic, no fiction can be scaled to outer.
And there is an argument to be made for the god forms being an infinite size multiplier or allow Goku to transcend tiers, but we do know that there definitely is one and they aren't getting infinitely stronger.
I mean, even before Dragon Ball Super, they had infinite multipliers in their transformations. I'm sorry for being extremely lazy, guys, but I don't feel so good. And even editing this video is a pain. And I don't want to, go beyond this basic editing because it's going to stress me out a whole lot. Like I said, malaria. So just watch these videos. Goku is above time. How strong is Goku with no guidebooks? They explain all these things with scans and evidence. Everything is there. Please watch it. Don't say I didn't tell you. Don't say I didn't provide proof, because I did.
We could go off the scaling based off the fact that Goku is able to surpass Zamasu and UI is above a Super Saiyan Blue Spirit Bomb infused Universe 7 attack. There definitely could be a case made for Goku exceeding 5D, but consistently I think this is where he's at.
Or maybe because you're biased, you obviously ignore every scale that gets Goku above 5D.
Really, besides Zeno wiping out the future and Goku shaking the world of Void, there aren't really any actual feats that put Goku any higher.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. He mentions feats that are above 5D and then he completely ignores them because he's biased. Also, why the fuck are you mentioning Zeno's feat for Goku, bro? Like, how the fuck is that even relevant?
The Zeno thing isn't even a feat because, one, nobody scales to Zeno.
Oh man, we definitely have never heard that before. Why the fuck would you bring it up in the first place, man?
And two, even if we grant him this feat, it's not really a feat. He has Erasure hacks. So.
This man really said Zeno doesn't have a feat because he has Erasure hacks, bro. This has to be the most goofy troll-ass post I have ever watched in my life. It has to be a troll, bro. There's no way this man is serious. The fact that Zeno can destroy something to the point that it's completely erased from existence shows the magnitude of his power. It doesn't mean just because it's a hack's ability that it doesn't scale to his AP. It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. It can just be both. Whis clearly states that Zeno has the power to annihilate anything from existence regardless of its scale or complexity. Keyword is the power. It was never stated to be an ability within Dragon Ball. It was stated to be power. Alright? Because I know you can't read. So let me help you a bit. Let me educate you.
And shaking the world of Void that has no time and space and is just nothing, it doesn't mean anything.
I'm telling you, this man is so bad, bro. This man does not know how to read, bro. He does not understand what Dragon Ball is. This man literally says it doesn't mean anything. Like, bro, the fact that they have to fight in the world of Void because it's more durable than the Macrocosms shows that it's a higher tier than the Macrocosms. Even more so, the fact that it's stated to be filled with infinite nothingness doesn't mean it's literally nothing. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to go in there. It's not literal nothingness. It's a place. It literally held the tournament stage. How can nothing hold the tournament stage? You're just implying that it's empty. It's infinite emptiness. No time, no space, just infinite emptiness, bruh. They're not saying it's literally non-existence. Like, bro, this is basic shit. This is really basic shit, bruh.
So, no. Just because Jiren surpassed time and overpowered a time cage that slows him down, it does not mean that Jiren is immeasurable. And no, Goku overpowering time skip doesn't make him immeasurable either.
I mean, if you're gonna argue that they're 5D or above, by default, you're giving them immeasurable speed. Because, you know, when you get to 5D, you get to beyond 4th dimensional speed, which by proxy is immeasurable speed. Like, any higher dimensional form of speed would be immeasurable. So if you're saying that they have 5D power and speed in Dragon Ball have to correlate in one way or the other. So they would just have immeasurable speed by default. Also, you didn't actually give a refutation to the Jiren statement. Vados, an angel who is well versed in time, says that his power transcends time. Could just be that he's able to break Hit's time skip or Hit's time cage because his power transcends time. Like, bro, it doesn't have to be a situation where it means just one thing and cannot mean the other, bro. That's like a false dichotomy. Now, I also disagree with any of those being immeasurable speed as well, because they're way above that. But, like, wasn't it stated that Jiren has super dimensional speed in the tournament of power, or beyond dimensional speed? Actually, this statement is referring to both Goku and Jiren. So, yeah, even if you downplay this, this is at least a measurable speed. Also, I know this scan says out of this dimension speed, but the Japanese actually says super dimensional speed. He goes on to do the generic, you know, quantum scaling and the 26 dimensional scaling for Alien X getting to like hyper, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but I do have my contentions with it. But I'll just steelman it for the sake of the video and say Alien X is hyperversal.
The other argument, in my opinion, is a little more shaky, as it's assuming the Quantumania apparently live in a pandimensional society, which would mean that they are not bound by dimension.
Yet another glorious display of the fact that you can't even do proper research and read, since when does pandimensional mean not being bounded by dimensionality? Pandimensional just means pertaining to all dimensions of the reality, which again wouldn't even include the 26 dimensions of the Ben 10 cosmology, because if it's in reference to the Quantumania who are established as fifth dimensional beings, then it is just more likely referring to universes when it says pan-dimensional, and not the higher 26 dimensions of the cosmology, because like I said, the Quantumania blatantly admit that they're 5D, and 5D transcending 4D universes has no contradictions. What would be a contradiction is if you argue that this is in context to every dimension of the verse, which it isn't. Also, you didn't really show the evidence for this claim, so how can you even make this argument in the first place?
And as we went over, the Celestial Sapiens are above the Quantumania, but this is kind of ratty, as the Quantumania are just blatantly stated to be 5D. I personally wouldn't use the argument, but it is there on the table.
It is definitely ratty, don't use the argument, and it definitely should not be on the table whatsoever.
As for speed, well, Ben bare minimum should be at the very worst infinite speed, since he's creating infinite-sized universes instantaneously. And he's also destroying infinite-sized multiverses with just his thoughts, so he's more than likely reaching those higher tiers of speed like immeasurable and whatnot.
You didn't prove in any way that it would scale to his speed just because it scales to its attack potency. You didn't even prove that the universes in Ben 10 are infinite in size, so how are you granting him infinite speed? And why are you granting him immeasurable speed because he can destroy infinite multiverses when that alone is below 5D? And you scaled Goku to at least 5D, and then you say that Goku does not qualify for immeasurable speed, even though he has basically the same scaling. Isn't that hypocrisy? Alien X basically has 0 speed feats, and you're gonna stand here telling me that Alien X being immeasurable speed because he's able to destroy multiverses is more consistent than Goku being immeasurable speed, even when power and speed in Dragon Ball are stated to correlate, and Goku does actually have immeasurable speed feats bare minimum. Yeah, you're just a hypocrite, bro. You're just a Dragon Ball down player.
As for his hacks, well, there's really nothing Alien X can't do. I'm not gonna lie, that's not even me glazing, man. This has literally been stated by the writers. He can bend space-time to his will, reality warp anything he essentially wants to. We've seen him show existence erasure, mind control, the ability to create clones and overwhelm his opponent. This dude is ridiculously broken, and the outcome is about what you'd expect.
Even if I steel man and say all of this is true, it would just be that he can do all of this to a 5th to 26 dimensional level. And if you argue it's any higher because it's stated that he can turn his thoughts to reality, you would just be committing a no limits fallacy, as you'd have to prove the extent that his thoughts can go.
Now, if we think the Dragon Ball universe is boundless by taking statements out of context,
nobody says the Dragon Ball universe is boundless, especially due to this statement, bruh. We don't even think boundless can apply to cosmologies whatsoever. It only applies to beings. Because if you have an infinite layer into high outer cosmology, transcending that would only put you another layer into high outer. You can't use cosmological structures to get to boundless because you can always transcend them. And boundless by definition is beyond everything. The absolute peak. You cannot be beyond boundless because it makes no sense. Also, if you think it's out of context, we can just debate it. But I know you're gonna duck. It's fine.
Or if we use the rat argument we talked about with the pan-dimensional society, then they'd actually be pretty relative and Goku could have a chance.
Okay, I don't understand how both of them being beyond dimensions makes them boundless. Like, are you actually smoking, bro?
Alien X does in fact beat Goku. He wipes GT and Super and probably some of your favorite fictional characters. Stay salty, my friends.
Yeah, Alien X does not beat Goku in any way, shape, or form. Like, he loses to Yamcha. Like, I'm not gonna stay here and start scaling Goku, because I'm way too tired to do that. I'm recording this by 2 a.m. my time, so yeah, I don't have the strength to start putting all these scans and everything and editing. If you want to see that, I have multiple videos already doing that, so just go watch those. I even have a video coming up. It's a 7-way collab with Kamekage, scaling Goku all the way from OG Dragon Ball down to Dragon Ball Heroes. Also, we know I don't debate randoms in comment sections. Stop hiding behind your goons and come debate me. Also, that's not my name.